Hearing Ziyu's angrily shouting behind him, Charlie dismissed it without turning his head. Ziyu grew up so big and had never been so despised, so she was naturally very angry. There are almost no girls in the Eastcliff wealthy family who are not self-righteous, but they are just about the importance. Ziyu is regarded as the top existence in Eastcliff, and even among the wealthy daughters in the country. Therefore, both self-esteem and self-righteousness are slightly higher than ordinary people. Therefore, being despised by Charlie without looking back, made her whole popularity stomped straight. However, she was also very clear in her heart that she was not Charlie's opponent at all, and she was not familiar with his life in Tokyo. There was no other way except to get angry. Just as Ziyu was very angry, Aki shrugged his two broken arms and came to Ziyu and the girl who sang. His expression was extremely gloomy, staring at the girl who sang, and asked viciously, "Say, who is that guy? What is his name, where does he live, and what is his background?" The girl said with some horror, "I don't know that gentleman." "Bull's it!" Takahashi yelled angrily, "Do you think I'm a 3-year-old kid? You don't know if you don't know me. If you don't tell me honestly, I will kill you." Ziyu glared at him and said coldly, "Mr. Aki, it's not appropriate to yell at a little girl, right?" Aki came back to his senses a little bit, suppressing the anger in his heart, gritted his teeth and said, "Miss Sue, you saw it just now, that bastard took my arms." Ziyu said blankly, "Yes, I saw it. It was the man who abolished your arm just now. What does it have to do with this little girl? You don't know what is wronged and indebted? Let's talk about it. The injury on your arm can be recovered after 3 or 5 months of care after a plaster cast. Is it such a lack of grace? No manner?" Aki couldn't hide his anger. "This girl is obviously related to that man. As long as she honestly tells me the man's information, I will naturally not embarrass her." Ziyu glared at him and said angrily, "This girl has said enough. If you don't know that man, don't you understand?" Aki said angrily, "Who knows if she is lying?" Ziyu said coldly, "Whether she is lying or not has nothing to do with you. If you want to ask for more details, you can ask others for advice. If others tell you, it's your duty. Don't tell you. It threatens the personal safety of others at every turn. Don't you remember what happened just now?" Aki Takahashi's expression was hard to look at all of a sudden. He knew that Ziyu was reminding him not to be too arrogant. The reason why he offended the man just now was entirely because he was too arrogant. Not only did he curse, he also asked the bodyguard to deal with him, and it ended up like this. Ziyu's words made him feel very shameless on his face. However, on the one hand, because the Tsu family behind Ziyu is much stronger than the Takahashi family, on the other hand, because he has a good impression of Ziyu, he can only suppress the anger in his heart at this time. Ziyu asked the singing girl, "Girl, you just said you don't know that man, then why did he help you out?" "I think he took some money from the person who was hit by the car just now." "About you?" The girl said seriously, "I can tell you clearly, that gentleman is a good person. I was playing guitar and singing on the side of the road, and no one cared about it. The gentleman gave me 100,000 yen, and then the mob went around with a few violent elements, grabbed my money and guitar, and asked me to accompany them. They wanted to take me to drink. The gentleman saved me." Ziyu frowned. "Is the man who was hit by the car a runaway?" "Yes." The girl nodded and continued, "They are all members of the runaway group. The gentleman saw the uneven road and injured several other violent elements. Then the runaway clan who was hit by the car took a knife to my neck. Because of me, the gentleman knocked down his knife and I was spared. Then the violent race was about to run away, and the gentleman chased him out, causing him to be hit by a car. You know the rest." After hearing this, Ziyu was stunned. She did not expect that the plot would be reversed so quickly. The rebellious and abnormal young man just now was actually trying to save an innocent girl from the hands of the members of the runaway group. Moreover, that little girl is a Chinese compatriot. She could even imagine that if it weren't for the man to rescue her today, this Chinese girl in a foreign country would definitely be harmed by the mobsters, and might even be abused by them. No wonder that man shot so hard. If it were herself, she would want to abolish these people. Aki was still yelling at the other party in anger, and even let a dozen bodyguards go up and besiege the other party. From this point of view, it is not too much to have 2 arms scrapped. At this moment, Ziyu's anger at Charlie disappeared instantly. So, she looked at the girl and asked, "Do you know where the other party is from? Which runaway group is from?" The girl hurriedly replied, "It's the Bunkyo group, the biggest violent group in Bunkyo district." "Bunkyo runaway group?" Ziyu looked at Aki, and asked coldly, "Bunkyo runaway group should be an external force of your Takahashi family, right? They grabbed money from a little girl in the street and forced her to accompany them. This is too much, right?" Aki's expression was shocked, and then he couldn't hide his embarrassment and said, "Miss Sue, where did you hear the rumor? Our Takahashi family has nothing to do with the runaway group." Ziyu snorted and said, "Mr. Takahashi, I have investigated it clearly before I came here. Your Takahashi family started from the gray world in the early years, but later you didn't go to the black, and then washed the white in time. The transformation is very successful.